Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.
Does anybody have any questions? We have down here the Q&A. Yeah, Father Mitch, come back up here. Father Vinny? Sorry about that. Anybody have a question? Any one of these priests that'd like to say something? Ask a question about?
Hello, I got a question. I think it'd be mainly for Father Mitch, but not exclusively, and that is, everything's been great here today, but I sense much more is to come out of this than just get together for one day. And I think the thing I'd like Father Mitch, if he agrees with, is to expound on, out of a group of men like this coming together comes vocations.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the primary source. Men, grandfathers, fathers, that's where vocations come from. I'd like you to speak on that if you agree.
Yeah, that's huge. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, I mean, y'all know I work with vocations full time. And I do know that vocations first come from the home, right? So whenever a young man wants to discern priesthood, it's going to come from your encouragement. And sometimes that's tough as us as men to let go of our sons. I'll never forget whenever I was going to seminary the first time. I went a few times. When I went the first time, my last words to my dad, he dropped me off. I was 19 years old. They dropped me off to the seminary. And I have one brother, but for some reason they weren't able to have kids. And what he told me was he left. His last words to me were, "I guess the Seymour name stops here." Right? I guess the Seymour name stops here. Meaning, that's not going to continue. Right? And so I think that there's a lot that comes from a young man. If he knows that his dad would accept him as priest, brothers, I encourage your sons to think about it. Don't push them into it. Please don't do that. But encourage them, son, if you ever think about being a priest, just know you have my full support. That's all it takes. And it gives a young man the freedom to discern that. Because many times, I'm sure Father Vinny can speak to it also, man, when if they don't have their parents' support, many times it stops right there. So when they say that, and to know that as like if your son's called to the priesthood, it is an unbelievable, fruitful life and the most noble call that your son could receive. Like it really is beautiful. So yeah, pray, ask God, if you want one of my sons, give them that call, and they're his. And he'll give the call to whoever he wants. But it's a long process of discernment with a God. But yeah, it is incredible. The vocations start in the home. So it's huge.
What else?
Does that answer your question, Paul? Good? All right.
Any other questions?
I don't know where to start. Excuse me, but to y'all that don't know me, my name is Michael Jones. I'm from Houma, Louisiana, and it's a lot of beautiful energy that's present here today, and I've been taking it all in. I love to see a bunch of men get out and speak about God. I've been touched in so many different ways since I've been obtaining Christ the Redeemer. I came in as a lost person, meaning that the outside world was eating me up. I've been battling an on fight with the devil, and I don't let the devil get the best of me. I have had situations where I have to fight a lot of negative vibration, and when I say negative vibration, I'm dealing with family problems and people that I'm just letting go out of my life because they don't see life how I see life. I've been on the losing side of the field. I'm about to make 47 this year, and I see a good 20 years of my life was lost to incarceration and being lost in the world, just caught up in worldly things. And it's an honor and a pleasure to get to meet this many priests at one time, because this point in my life, after I received my baptism, which I'm desperately waiting to receive those sacraments, and I feel like God has a special gift for me. I work with kids, I work with older people, and I try to lead people to the righteous, but I fail in trying to, I guess, force it on some people that are not ready to accept that gift or see righteousness in the righteous form. And me, as a man at this age here, I'm done with the street, I'm done with the worldly things, and I just want to come in and just start a clean straight in life.
Awesome.
And I heard that you work with a lot of people on becoming a priest. I don't know if it's just going to be priest or acolyte, but I'm going to play a role in standing up amongst the righteous people and finding God. And I just wanted to share that with y'all.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Keep going. It's awesome. Got a couple back here. Back there. Oh, you're good.
Our recorder can't catch you if you don't use the microphone.
This question's for Father Benny. You had mentioned you had the men with you that if they would just do it the way you wanted them to do it, then you could love them. And what I heard, if you would just be the person I want you to be, then I can love you. And my question is, what were some of the things you turned to help Jesus change your heart to be able to look at those people in a different way and love them the way you needed to love them?
Well, I want to say that whatever it is worked, but I can't. I can say it has worked sometimes. The bottom line of it is, we are made in God's image and likeness. What my problem is, I try to make them in my image and likeness. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I'm not the prettiest guy. So, me trying to make them into my image and likeness makes them as ugly as I am. And you know what? It keeps them down so that I can rise to the top, rather than recognize the fact, if they made God's image and likeness, I should kneel before them in true humility, because they speak Jesus Christ. I want to say that works, but I'm going to tell you right now, that's why I go to confession every week. It doesn't work. And that creates the struggle. And the other piece of that is, I have to look at them, because the way God looks at us, He looks at us in the present moment. He doesn't look at us in the future. He doesn't look at us in the past. He looks at us right here today. And that's what brings me peace. When I stop and say, Lord, where are you right now? Right now, this moment at 1:17 on a Saturday afternoon, where are you with me right now? And you know what? It's a very peaceful place. As soon as I start going ahead of me or going behind me, I get in trouble. And that helps, keeping God in the present moment. That good of an answer? See, the trick is you give a long answer and you forgot the question.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Parabon General Health Systems, modern technology, and timeless caring. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bourke, know your rights. South Louisiana Bank, it's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. Alford and Associates, for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Larka Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
Jesus had said that unless we exceed what the Pharisees do, that we are not to enter the kingdom of heaven. In the olden days, they talked about the high priest went behind the curtain to the Holy of Holies, and if they went in there with sin, that they would drop dead. Now, weren't they still doing that when Jesus was in his ministry? Weren't the high priests still going behind the curtains? At that point, yes.
Isn't it amazing how none of them dropped dead?
That's my question. Why weren't they dropping like flies? Because Caiaphas was planning on killing, and they did. They succeeded in killing Jesus. So why weren't these high priests dropping like flies?
Because you're looking at it too literally. It's not a literal dropping dead. It's just like, God says, that leading the Jews was the land of milk and honey. Was it sticky when they got there? No, it's not a literal thing. So then you have to understand it. They weren't dropping dead, but they become spiritually dead.
Because they were tying the ropes on them. They said when they drop dead, they could pull them back out.
So there's a couple of little things in there. The Pharisees and the high priests were not the same people.
Right, the high priest was the only one that would go.
Yeah, but the high priest also would have been the Sadducee class.
Right.
And the whole Pharisee movement started because of corruption in the priesthood. Also, the not every priest was the high priest every year. So maybe if you were getting toasted, who knows?
Seemed like when Jesus died, somebody should have dropped behind the curtain. Some
Curtain was
accountability.
torn. The curtain tore when he
What are
died.
you in the mafia? Someone's got to pay for it.
That joke's not appropriate coming from me, but it's okay for you to say that.
Hi, this is a question for any of the clergy who want to answer it. My name is Nicholas Scott. I'm a college student at Nichols, and I noticed that in an increasingly atheist and anti-Christian world, it's very hard for young people like us to stay with the faith. So is there any advice you have for people like us who want to take the faith seriously, even though everyone around us openly tells us that Christianity is something for stupid people, that can help us and avoid accepting these ideas as our own?
Yeah, I would say is to know the truth, right? So a lot of times our professors, we look up to them, but we might not want to model our life after them. So number one, know the truth, and the truth is going to set you free. And we do know that, especially in our world today, especially on college campuses, that modern day atheism is at a rise. But it's so important to remember Jesus' words. Blessed are those who are persecuted for my name's sake, for yours is the kingdom of God, right? So it doesn't matter what they're saying. I know truth, and I can live my life according to the truth, who is Jesus Christ. And so to be strong. Now more than ever, we need our young people to be incredibly strong in being witnesses to the faith, because you can't argue with a witness, right? There's a great saying that the world won't believe a teacher unless that teacher is first a witness. And so be a witness to the truth, and if you get persecuted, so be it. I've seen college students heroically go against their professors. They wrote a paper and their professor bled all over it because they disagreed with a topic, right? Because it was a Christian pro-life topic, whatever it might be. But they still did it, and they were willing to get the F because they believed in what they were doing. So we need you in college right now to be bold witnesses and know that Jesus is going to be right there with you. Persecuted with him, you'll also live with him. So just keep on going.
If I could add to that, the Word on Fire movement is for you guys. If you're familiar with that, Bishop Barron often talks about how the modern atheist movement is built upon some fundamental assumptions that are kind of thin. And if you study good philosophy, apologetics, and theology, you're going to be equipped to deal with that. Because all of the most prominent atheists come out with a powerful stance against religion and argue a total straw man the whole time. It is not based on anything that we believe. And so if you're equipped, you'll be able to handle that. And there are tons of resources to help you deal with that. Because it's kind of it's difficult to say this way, but it's a reading problem, right? If you outread the atheists, you will for sure be inoculated against that and be able to really dive into that battle and have an interesting conversation. Bishop Barron often talks about how it's funny how the conversations stop right when they start to get interesting. So push past it, have the real conversation. Don't give up. And there are resources that my generation would have killed for that are available to you guys all for free.
Anybody else? Great. Great.
And when Father Andre was speaking, he was talking a lot about childlike virtue or childlike disposition in the face of God. Father Vinny, you spoke about being childlike briefly. Father Mitch, I don't think you mentioned childlike, but maybe you are childlike. I don't know. My thought on that is Father Andre defined being childlike as being essentially, I'm paraphrasing, receptive to the truth as it's given to you from authority. In today's day, particularly with Father Vinny, you mentioned all of the topics within interchurch. How do we keep a childlike disposition when you might hear different, I don't call them truths, but I just don't have a better word, different answers or suggestions from different folks in authority?
Childlikeness is awe and wonder. Mark Toop said to me one time, so, he asks stupid questions like, so how is Vinny today? I felt like saying, none of your damn business. But I said to him, I'm like holding my father's hand walking into an amusement park. Which was good because he didn't understand what I was talking about. And I said, I'm filled with awe and wonder. What's awe and wonder? It's the two emotions that describe childlikeness. What's the language of a childlikeness? Wow. So when you walk outside and you see nature for what nature is, it's recognizing something outside of myself as awe and wonder. Like the little child going into a parking lot of an amusement park holding his father's hand, and he looks ahead and sees these roller coasters, and he goes, wow, wow. That's childlikeness, that's not childish. Childlikeness is recognizing that in the presence of God, I am a child, and it's awe and wonder. And when I see what God has done, I have one word, wow.
Can I add something to that too? That's really cool. I think it's also the way that children trust. Like, that if you have kids, if they're standing on a table, they're just jumping off of it and trusting that you're going to catch them, right? There's those moments of spontaneity that a child does something and they just trust Dad's going to catch me. He's going to be right there. And so I think to be childlike in our faith also means that I trust my Father with everything, with my family, with my marriage, with my job, with whatever it is. The childlike faith is this trust in the Father, like a little kid has trust in you, right? That He's going to take care of me. I don't have to take control. I don't have to figure it all out. It's not on me. It's just, I'm just going to jump. In faith, sometimes that's what happens. We just jump and we know that the Father's going to catch us.